Air Canada says it will start canceling flights tomorrow as the union representing 10,000 flight attendants issues a 72-hour strike notice. Good afternoon. Negotiations between the airline and the union have run into heavy headwinds, leading to uncertainty for air travelers.
Air Canada says the cancellations will allow for an orderly shutdown of operations as it faces a potential strike by flight attendants. CTV Sean Leathong is live at Pearson Airport with the latest. Sean.
Well, Nathan and Michelle, business is going forward as usual today at Pearson, but as you've heard, tomorrow they will start canceling flights from Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge. In a statement that Air Canada posted on their website, they're saying that anybody without a confirmed flight is being told not to go to the airport. Any cancellation notices will be given to customers with a full refund, and they do say they regret the inconvenience it will cause to passengers. Now, we know that the union representing the 10,000 flight attendant workers for Air Canada had given a strike notice as of today that would be effective on Saturday morning. In return, Air Canada giving a lockout notice to that union, as they say that talks have been hitting a bit of a rough patch and that the union rejected a proposal to go to binding arbitration. The union saying in a statement on their own site that any binding arbitration wouldn't give their workers a chance to vote on the ultimate result, and that is something that they didn't want to do, and that it will also focus any results from binding arbitration would focus on the status quo, and that's not what they are going for. Air Canada in return saying that they were offering over a 30% pay increase over 4 years, and they're hoping that they do reach some sort of settled agreement, but at this point it does seem very sticky. Now, just 2 days ago, many of the flight attendants were here in Toronto staging a silent protest out front of Pearson, as they did in 3 other Canadian cities, that also being in Montreal, Calgary, and Vancouver. Now, today I was speaking to some passengers who were leaving and maybe caught up in some of this work stoppage if it does go forward, and here's what they had to say.
I understand what they're dealing with, and I listen to some of the stuff that they're saying, and so I get that they need to do it when it is peak time, because if you strike when nobody wants to fly, it doesn't make much sense.
I am a little. I'm worried about coming home, but what can you do? I'm kind of on the side of the flight attendants. I think they probably need to get paid some more money, so...
Well, I have some sympathy for them. I mean, they should get paid for the work they do, and they're not getting paid for the work they do prior to the takeoff of the airplane, so that's not fair.
So Air Canada is saying that they are working towards a gradual shutdown, with flights being canceled tomorrow, more being canceled on Friday, before a total cessation of Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge flights on Saturday. Just to note that Air Canada Express and PAL Express airline flights will go ahead this weekend as originally scheduled. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leathong. Nathan and Michelle, send it back to you.
Thank you, Sean. The new TTC chief is apologizing after a subway service was shut down on Line 1 between Lawrence West and St. George stations for nearly 2 hours this morning. Commuters had to rely on shuttle buses. CEO Mandeep Lali explained what happened in a statement this morning that reads, "This morning on Line 1 near Eglinton West Station, we had a late clearing work zone where crews had been making an overnight switch repairs. Unfortunately, this resulted in delays getting trains out for service and led to significant inconvenience for our customers. For this, I apologize. As CEO, I want to assure everyone that I am accountable, and I've asked our team to take immediate steps to mitigate such events in the future." He added in a message to riders, "Thank you for your understanding as we work to deliver the kind of reliable service you need and that you deserve."
3 people have been taken to hospital after a motorcycle collided with another vehicle near East Lynn and Danforth Avenues. This happened shortly before 9:30 p.m. Police say a 19-year-old man suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Meanwhile, 2 men, one in his 40s, the other in his 60s, also suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The cause of this crash is under investigation. A man is dead and 1 person is in custody following a stabbing in East York.
It happened inside a high-rise on Woodbine south of O'Connor Drive. Residents say the building was also the site of a deadly stabbing just a couple of years ago. CTV's Janice Golding has the details.
In this viewer video, you can see first responders making a desperate bid to save a young man's life. An emergency run to a trauma center that would prove futile.
I was on my way here, and my sister confirmed from the hospital that he didn't make it. This is my baby brother. I had 3 brothers. That was the last one I had left, and now he's gone too. Murdered.
The victims say family and friends, 33-year-old Dwight Langill.
I'm just happy my parents aren't alive to see this.
Police say it was around 2:30 p.m. when they were called to a stabbing in the Woodbine and O'Connor area.
We just saw cops running in with guns and all this stuff.
And the guy came out on the stretcher. They were pumping his stomach. And then the other kid they took away in cuffs.
Police say they arrested a suspect who you can see here in handcuffs, being led away from the building to a waiting police car.
I can tell you that the male and the victim are known to each other. We are not looking for any additional suspects.
While police have a suspect in custody, residents say they still don't feel reassured. In August 2023, another man was murdered in a stabbing at their building.
This is the second murder they had in this building in the space of 3 years. So what do you expect?
It makes me feel unsafe.
Still, police were making their presence known. Officers guarded a door on the 11th floor, while more uniformed police could be seen in the stairwell of the 15th floor next to a pair of discarded red running shoes.
I just got home, walked through the door, seen all the cop cars here, and found out one of my best friends died.
I'm very shocked. My friend was murdered today. I don't know what to feel right now. I've known Dwight about almost 11 years.
A lot to process, a lot to grieve.
I really hope the justice system works.
Although many question what justice there can be for the family of Dwight Langill, who leaves behind 3 young children. Janice Golding, CTV News, Toronto.
A Holton police officer was injured while responding to a break-and-enter at a Shoppers Drug Mart in Milton early this morning. Police were called to the Shoppers on Main Street just before 3 a.m. Police say one person was arrested at the scene and a second attempted to get away in a vehicle before being arrested a short distance away. The officer's injuries are non-life-threatening. A suspect was also hurt but is expected to be okay. Charges are pending and police are looking for a third person who got away. And Toronto police have released images of a suspect in an East End assault. Investigators are alleging 31-year-old Siobhan Chamberlain went to an apartment near Dawes Road in Victoria Park at around 9:30 last night and assaulted 2 people. They suffered minor injuries. Chamberlain is wanted on charges of assault, assault by choking, uttering threats, mischief, and breach of probation. Anybody with information is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers.
The 18-year-old man accused in a head-on crash that killed a father of 3 this month, and an earlier collision involving the premier appeared in court in person this morning for a bail hearing. Jaiwin Kirubanathan was led into an Oshawa courtroom as lawyers argued over whether he should be released on bail pending trial for charges including dangerous driving causing death of Andrew Cristillo and causing serious injuries to his 3 daughters, 7-year-old Leah, 6-year-old Chloe, and 4-year-old Ella. The Cristillo family has asked why he wasn't restricted from driving after another dangerous driving charge stemming from a crash back in January on the 401 where a vehicle transporting the premier was hit. But a lawyer who has reviewed the documents said that wasn't an option.
In this case, a summons was sent out and an appearance was made and the charge was before the court. There was no bail hearing or other type of procedure in that case. And then unfortunately, he went out driving again and caused this immense tragedy.
We will have more on the outcome of the hearing tonight on CTV News at 5 and 6.
And we have more news in a moment, but first there's a live look at the city. Right now it looks like the Gardiner and traffic a little bit light. Usually there's quite a bit of traffic. It is a hot one once again, but not what we've dealt with over the past few days, a little bit cooler. However, there was a heat warning in effect. It's still humid out there. Air quality is still a concern as well. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan. And perhaps you were awakened in the night by a few thunderstorms rumbling through the GTA. I know that happened for some. Here's a look at the current satellite and radar. Just a few showers impacting Long Point and communities around Lake Couchiching at this hour. Other than that, it is a mix of sun and cloud. We did, however, pick up 8 millimeters of rain yesterday in the city of Toronto, our first significant rainfall in the month of August and really in a number of weeks here in southern Ontario. Right now it is 26 degrees. It feels like 34. So it is still muggy out there for today. This heat warning, it's gradually coming to an end. It remains in place around the Golden Horseshoe and will come to an end a little later today. Here's your afternoon at a glance. 30 degrees is going to feel like 38. We're going to hang on to the chance of a shower and risk of a thunderstorm through this afternoon and early evening. After that, a much fresher air mass is going to move in, and we'll show you what that means for your forecast for the rest of the week coming up. For now, Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. The province has announced new supports for businesses being hit hard by the Canada-U.S. trade war.
This new program will provide Ontario-based companies in the steel, aluminum, and auto sectors, some of the hardest hit by U.S. tariffs, with up to $1 billion in funding support, and will provide some much-needed relief for Ontario businesses who are facing working capital challenges as a result of tariffs, including payroll, lease, and utility payments. Our government is committing $1 billion in emergency loans to be delivered through the new Protect Ontario financing program, which will serve as a key part of our plan to not only keep workers on the job in sectors impacted by tariffs, but to also help us build a more resilient and self-reliant economy that future generations of Ontarians can count on.
The announcement comes along with the province's latest fiscal update. The first quarter finances showed Ontario's GDP increased by 0.6% in that period, supported by higher exports and household spending. Demonstrations were held yesterday evening outside 13 TTC stations on Line 2 from Kipling to Maine.
We want to raise awareness among the Canadian public, among our neighbours, among commuters who are passing through this intersection on their way homes, and let them know what their government is doing. The government has not been transparent about its actions, so that leaves it to us to do that education work with the public.
Demonstrators are calling on the federal government to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. They are demanding the Liberal government impose an arms embargo on Israel.
People all over the world are just anguished right now, seeing what we see on our screens, what everyone can see. Children are starving, are being denied water. There's indiscriminate bombing. Journalists are being killed in Gaza, expanded to occupied territories. So somebody has to, I think, stand up in Canada to say Palestinian lives are being destroyed, and our government has a role to play.
Prior to the demonstrations, Councillor James Pasternak, who represents York Centre, released a statement which reads in part, "The groups planning the disruption are part of the anti-Israel mob that has destabilized the city for almost 2 years. These protests have cost the city over $20 million in police costs and have diverted crucial resources from other law enforcement and crime prevention responsibilities."
Meanwhile, a separate demonstration was held outside the Bell Media studios on Queen Street West in honor of 6 journalists killed in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza City on Sunday. Al Jazeera reporter Anas al-Sharif, along with 4 other staff members, were killed. Israel says it targeted 28-year-old al-Sharif, claiming he was a Hamas leader. Al Jazeera has dismissed those claims, calling the Israeli strike a, quote, blatant and premeditated attack on press freedom. In addition to expressing solidarity with reporters on the ground in Gaza, the demonstrators called on Canadian media to depict what they say is a more accurate portrayal of the situation in the enclave. Water bombers have slowed the growth of a wildfire threatening St. John's, but the flames are still burning out of control.
The good news this morning is there are no further evacuation alerts and no evacuation orders, so everything that was in place yesterday remains the same situation this morning.
Yesterday, officials ordered the evacuation of parts of a suburb of the capital that is threatened by the fire, about 15 kilometers south of the city. Thousands of other residents within the metropolitan area remain under an evacuation alert, which requires residents to be prepared to flee at a moment's notice.
In Nova Scotia, firefighters are taking advantage of low wind and foggy conditions to battle an out-of-control blaze on the western outskirts of Halifax. It's about 1/3 of a kilometer in size. Local officials have ordered the evacuation of a few businesses, but there are no plans at this time to evacuate nearby neighborhoods or apartment buildings.
And in BC, a new out-of-control wildfire burning on Vancouver Island has exploded in size. It now covers close to 1,450 hectares near Port Alberni. And in another development, more regions in the province have been ordered to evacuate.
Ukraine's president says he told European leaders and Donald Trump today that Russian President Vladimir Putin is bluffing ahead of the planned summit with the U.S. in Alaska. Volodymyr Zelensky's in Germany, where talks were held today with the German chancellor. There were also virtual meetings with Donald Trump and European leaders ahead of Friday's summit between the U.S. president and Putin. Zelensky said today the Russian president is trying to apply pressure on all sectors of the Ukrainian front in an attempt to show that Moscow is capable of occupying all of Ukraine. He said Putin is also bluffing about sanctions as if they do not matter to him and are ineffective. But Zelensky insists they are very helpful.
A typhoon made landfall today in Taiwan, where authorities closed schools and government offices. A fishing raft was blown onto a road, and several stores also suffered damage. The storm hit the East Coast shortly after noon local time, moving across the southern third of the island at about 36 kilometers per hour. The areas affected are well south of the capital, Taipei, as well as Taiwan's main international airport and high-tech industrial base. The typhoon was expected to move westward across the Taiwan Strait while losing strength.
A medieval jewel in the UK has had a multi-million-dollar makeover and is reopening its doors to the public. Norwich Castle is one of Europe's most important Norman palaces. It fully reopened today following a $51 million 5-year redevelopment that transports visitors 900 years into the past. The fortress has been transformed into an immersive historical experience, allowing the public to explore all 5 floors for the first time ever. There are also interactive displays and immersive audio-visual laser projections telling the story of the castle.
Back here at home, the Canadian National Exhibition is back for its 146th year, a beloved summer tradition that kicks off this Friday. And that's where we find our Jessica Smith getting a first taste of this annual summer treat. Ooh, I think you've got a wonderful assignment today, Jess.
Michelle, everything has butter in it. Butter is back. Butter is the theme this year. We've got pickles in bags. We've got deep fried watermelon, and it doesn't get much better. I'm joined by Mark Holland, CEO of the CNE. I feel like, and this has been mentioned multiple times, everybody has a CNE story, but it is the food that a lot of folks come for. We're 146 years. What's new this year?
Well, you're right. I mean, it's an adventure of every kind. So it's a culinary adventure where you're going to try all kinds of wild things. It's a lot of fun. Talking about food, we also have our dinner in the sky, where it was in Dubai, it was in Tokyo, it was huge. You get to have a meal suspended way up in the sky with incredible chefs, where you overlook the waterfront and the festival. We have, of course, Mythos, and we have a CNE bandshell lineup that's incredible this year. We're opening with Sean Desmond. We have 98 Degrees. We have Moist, July Talk, so many great bands. So there's something for everybody.
We were in Mythos a little earlier, very interactive. Why did you want to bring that interactive but also educational element in this year?
Yeah, well, so Mythos is really interesting because it's telling a whole bunch of different stories from different cultural perspectives. I think that's really Toronto, isn't it? I mean, there's so much diversity in our city. So bringing that alive, bringing those stories in really immersive way is really cool.
I have to talk about the food. I'm going to bring in Andrew here. You're from Bacon Nation. Hey. So, Andrew, you're holding in your hand what looks like the largest drink I've ever seen. What is going on?
This is our main feature this year. This is the butter root beer soda.
So there is butter in that drink?
Yes, there is. So what we did is we took a classic root beer, combined it with a bit of butter to give it some flavor, and then our cold foam we make specifically for this drink, which is whipped butter to top it all off. And the sweet and salty combination is an adventure for your taste buds.
It is interesting. While I sample this butter-based drink, why come back every year? I know, obviously, if you know any kind of food festival, you know Bacon Nation, but why come back every single year?
Well, the CNE does a great job with their foods, and they do it over the top every year. And I tell everybody, right? There you go. I tell everybody, it's the city's best cheat day. You come down, it is your cheat day. You can enjoy all kinds of stuff from smash burgers, deep fried watermelon, I believe. We got the smash burger and a taco, tropicals, and our green apple candy soda.
My brain is a little perplexed by this drink because it's sweet and salty at the same time. Yeah. For people coming down, maybe for the very first time, everyone's got a CNE story. What can they expect this year from the overall experience?
Well, adventure, right? Every experience is going to be different because there's something for everybody. You enter championship wrestling, we've got it. If you want an ice show, we got it. You want super dogs, we got it. So there's something for everybody. And I think that sense that it's a place where the whole city can come together, celebrate the end of the summer, have a fantastic time, makes it such a special place.
And we have some famous drag queens here.
Yes.
Typhoon Banks is one of my favorites. So we have Juice Box and another queen. But talk to me about what's happening on Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday, we've got our drag extravaganza. We've only got a few tickets left. They're selling out fast. So it's the stars, the queens of season 1 from Canada's Drag Race are going to be with us. That's going to be a huge amount of fun as well.
Well, we're going to eat some more food. We're going to send things back inside. I need help. I'm going to try one of these pickles in a bag. We're going to send things back inside while I sample one of these unique looking pickles.
You know, we would love to help if we could.
Covered a lot of ground. That was it.
I'm sure.
Well, that looks awesome. Thanks so much, Jess. Enjoy. And for anybody who wants to head to the X on Friday when it all begins, the weather's looking pretty good. Here's a little sneak peek. Sunshine, temperature around 30 degrees. It's going to feel like 34, but at least it's not going to feel like 40 anymore. Just want to bring you up to speed on Tropical Storm Erin. We have had a very quiet Atlantic hurricane season so far, but forecasts look like we could have our first named hurricane by the end of this week. How could it impact North America? And might it impact our temperature story going forward? We'll take a closer look at your local forecast after this break here on CTV News at noon.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Firefighters continue to battle 2 massive grass fires in Cottage country as dry, hot conditions persist. Officials provided this update a short time ago.
So outside Fire Region 1, OFR 1, remains at 33.5 hectares and is located approximately 200 meters east of Prospect Road and 1 kilometer north of Eldon Station Road. The Forest Fire Management headquarters of Halliburton was the one that responded to this fire. We have 5 fire ranger crews, and the fire is still not under control. Halliburton 19 remains at 27 hectares and located approximately 1.6 kilometers west of Highway 49 and 1.7 kilometers south of Highway 121. The fire has been tied in, meaning that the suppression efforts, the fire suppression efforts intended to secure the fire's perimeter has been secured by a continuous measure that would allow for in preventing it from advancing further.
Evacuation orders have not been issued, but a ban on outdoor fires is in place. One of the blazes began Monday. The other started Saturday in the Burnt River area. Both wildfires have resulted in road closures. A total fire ban's in effect in Kawartha Lakes. Meanwhile, there was some encouraging news in Newfoundland this morning.
Now, fortunately, here in Ontario and in the GTA, we got some wet weather. I don't know about you. Did you wake up to the storm last night? It was so loud, it startled me out of bed, and I thought, but then I thought, okay, some rain, this is good.
You know what? I'm a deep sleeper, so I didn't hear any of it.
Not a single
Nothing,
thing.
but usually when I look out the window in the morning, oh, I saw a puddle. There must have been rain overnight.
Puddles? They still happen?
Yeah, I know. It had been so long since we had had rain here in southern Ontario that I think it caught a lot of people off guard yesterday, and like you say, in the middle of the night as well. It's been an active 24 hours. We could see a little more in the way of active weather today before we dry out again heading into the weekend. We're also about to get a bit of a break from the heat and humidity. It'll be back over the weekend, and then next week, maybe a pattern flip altogether. Let's get to it. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. As you woke up this morning, the rain had for the most part tapered off in the GTA, but look at that. Yeah, that's the CN Tower trying to poke through those clouds there. Some very low cloud as a result of the active weather rolling through, showers, thunderstorms. We've kind of seen it all the last little bit here, and as we progress through this afternoon, maybe another round. So right now on the satellite and radar, it's not looking too active. As mentioned, we had a few showers creeping their way out over Lake Erie. That continues to happen right now. Otherwise, you can see cloud is starting to clear as well. So we're going to get back into some sunshine. If not for the afternoon, for the evening hours, our best chance of maybe seeing a passing shower or thunderstorm today will come mid-afternoon to early evening. We've also got a passing cold front that's going to help usher in some cooler, fresher air. It's going to be a nice change. Here's a look at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So this just gives you a little bit of an idea. These will be hit and miss. It's not widespread rain, but again, any little bit of precipitation going to help. We need to add to that rainfall tally for the month of August for sure, and for the summer as a whole. Tomorrow is a dry day, Friday too. Both days filled with sunshine, and while it is still going to bring us some summertime warmth, it's not going to be that oppressive, unbearable heat and humidity that we've dealt with for some time now. Right now, it still feels like 34 in the GTA. It feels like 35 in Windsor, Ontario, as well as Kingston. A little more comfortable the further north you travel at this point. Our forecast daytime high for today is 30 degrees, much of the same of what we've been experiencing, but not quite feeling into the 40s like it did at one point yesterday afternoon. It was very muggy. Evening at a glance shows still holding on to the chance of showers, risk of storms through the early evening. After that, it's going to be clear skies and comfortable temperatures. In fact, overnight tonight, we expect to drop into the teens, which is a nice change as well. It's been a little uncomfortable for sleeping, some pretty sticky overnights the last several days. And then there's tomorrow. 28 degrees is going to feel more like 31 as opposed to 41. Mostly sunny skies, a little bit of an east wind. Have you noticed the sunset happening a little earlier? Yeah, at about 8:30 now these days. Upper air pattern, don't get too used to the more comfortable weather because it looks as though we're going to be feeling the heat again as we make our way into the weekend. In fact, Saturday, our forecast daytime high is about 32 degrees. Factor in that humidity and it's going to feel like 37. But the weekend looks pretty good for your outdoor plans. Chance of some wet weather, I should say, Saturday night and perhaps following us into Sunday. Look at the change, though, as we make our way through the early part of next week. And before the break, I talked about Tropical Storm Erin. Depending how that storm ends up tracking, it could impact how long this cooler air sticks around here in southern Ontario. But highs of 23 degrees, that's it for Monday and Tuesday. That's a big change. Suddenly we are below seasonal, and so we'll keep an eye on just how long that could last. I know that many will welcome the significant change. That's the weather for now. Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
It will no doubt feel fresh. Thank you, Lindsay. Well, stargazers in southern Ontario spotted something unusual in the sky last night. The strange bow tie-shaped light has since fueled dozens of online posts and speculation about what exactly it is. Now, York University astronomy and astrophysics professor Jesse Rogerson says there is a simple explanation. It's part of a rocket that the United Launch Alliance launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida last night.
This was the first fully run rocket by ULA to deliver payloads to space, and it was replacing their old Deltas and their old Atlas V. And so when you launch something like this, when you launch a big rocket, especially this one which was going to geosynchronous orbit, 30,000 kilometers away, you need a lot of fuel, and you drop your stages as you go. So as you spent your fuel, you get rid of part of the rocket to make your rocket lighter and easier to push farther into space.
Rogerson says the rocket is carrying a payload from the United States Air Force.
Still ahead, mind over music. A new study looks at how the brain benefits from musical training and why playing an instrument might slow the aging process.
There is more evidence underscoring the power of music and the positive impact on our health.
A new study by Baycrest found that playing an instrument may protect against cognitive aging. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has the details.
I've been playing piano since kindergarten. I started taking piano lessons at the Royal Conservatory of Music.
The study by Claude Alain and others involved measuring the brain activity of 25 older musicians, 25 older non-musicians, and 24 young non-musicians using MRI.
One has to do as looking at the benefit of musical training and to what extent it improves perceptual and cognitive function in young adults, for example. And in addition to that, we also have some research looking at age-related change in perception and cognition.
Normal aging is typically associated with declines in sensory and cognitive functions, and those age-related changes are usually accompanied by increased neural activity.
The finding was quite surprising. We thought that maybe what will happen with music training is that older adults may have more efficient activity and may even generate more activity that we thought could index some compensatory mechanisms. But what we found was the opposite.
In other words, the brain activity in older musicians did not have to increase to perform certain cognitive tasks. It remained more like that of a young adult.
Music training is helping you keep a younger brain.
Richard says he stopped playing music for some years, but came back to it after his father, who was a band leader, passed away.
I try actually to play a lot of the songs that I know in different styles. I'll play like a slower waltz thing in a rock and roll style.
And the research indicates that even years after musical training, the brain retains cognitive benefits. And even when music training starts late in life, it still helps, as do other lifestyle choices, such as learning a new language.
This is, I think, very exciting because you can imagine in terms of education that we should probably have music class the same way we have gym class, for example.
For Richard Parnes, the benefits are first of all enjoyment for himself and his audience, but the brain benefits are certainly welcome. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The Ford government says it did not meet its target for getting long-term care residents an average of 4 hours a day of direct care by March of this year, but it came very close. According to a new report, the average direct hours of nursing and PSW care in long-term care homes across the province was 95.5% of that 4-hour mark. The target is part of a law passed during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021. The province says it will continue trying to increase the amount of direct care residents receive, including by addressing staffing challenges.
The province's climate plan is set to be put to the constitutional test again in December. A group of youth climate activists has argued Ontario's 2018 decision to replace its climate target with a weaker one was a violation of their charter rights. After a hearing in 2022, a Superior Court judge ruled that was not the case, but on appeal, the province's highest court sent the case back for another hearing. That was despite the government's request that the appeals court weigh in. A lawyer for the activists says the new hearing is scheduled for December.
It looks like a prequel could be in the works for one of the top films at the box office right now.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only her?
Horror thriller Weapons brought in more than $42 million U.S. in its debut weekend. It tells the story of a town shattered by the mysterious disappearance of an entire classroom of children. Now, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter that talks are underway with filmmaker Zach Kreger to create a story about what takes place beforehand, focusing on the origin story of one prominent character in particular. Sources said there was no timeline for the potential prequel's release.
Well, the trailer is out for the next movie from Uncut Gems co-director Josh Safdie.
I know it's hard to believe, but I'm telling you, this game, it fills stadiums overseas. And it's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
Timothée Chalamet plays ping pong star Marty Mauser in Marty Supreme. Also in the cast are Gwyneth Paltrow, Fran Drescher, and yes, your eyes aren't fooling you there, Shark Tank personality Kevin O'Leary. The A24 movie hits theaters December 25th.
I'm not trying to control you, Marty. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. But I don't think you...
The countdown to the Toronto International Film Festival is set to begin in earnest as cinema fans figure out which movies they'd like to see. The full schedule for the 50th edition of the festival is now out. It also features no shortage of star-studded events and conversations with actors and filmmakers. TIFF runs from September 4th to the 14th, but as seasoned TIFF goers know, there are only so many tickets available to each item on the schedule. Here are some of the dates to keep in mind as the festival prepares to start ticket sales. Starting August 15th, tickets will go on sale to different groups of people based on their membership level. During those first days, ticket purchases will be limited to anyone at the leader, champion, patron, sustainer, or contributor levels. On August 20th, industry and early bird individual members get their shot. followed the next day by the rest of the individual members. Then on August 22nd, TIFF insiders and those holding under 25 free passes can buy tickets. Members of the general public can buy TIFF tickets August 25th.
Still to come on CTV News at noon. It's been a hot summer, and for one couple having difficulties with their heat pump, there has been little relief. We'll have their story after the break.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The GTA has had many extreme heat warnings this summer, and for those without air conditioning, it's been a challenge to stay cool.
If you have air conditioning, your system has likely been running around the clock, and some homeowners have still found it difficult to find relief. CTV's Pat Foran has this consumer alert.
July and August have had dozens of days above 30 degrees Celsius with record-breaking heat. In this Mississauga home, Pramila and Ashok Glum say they've been running multiple fans in an effort to cool their house down, even though they bought a new heat pump system 2 years ago.
We had 6-7 fans in the house so that we can sleep overnight, and still it was a nightmare.
The Lums say the heat pump worked fine in the winter heating their home, but on extremely hot days, the temperature won't go lower than 29 degrees.
Last 2 weeks, when the weather was 35 degrees and 36 degrees outside, our house was 29 degrees, 30 degrees, 31 degrees.
The Lums say when they call the company that installed the heat pump, they do come. In fact, they've come 12 different times over the past 2 years, but they just can't seem to figure out what the problem is.
It's very hot, and they're giving us one excuse or the other.
The couple was told their furnace was compatible with a heat pump, but when the house wouldn't cool down, they were told they needed to replace it, even though it was only 7 years old.
And we ended up spending $4,500, which we didn't have to.
Ashok recently had heart and brain surgery. The couple says if the heat pump issue can't be repaired, they'd rather replace it with an air conditioner.
I want my money back so that I can go and get a regular air conditioner and keep my house cool.
CTV News contacted the company that installed the heat pump. They sent 3 technicians to try and resolve the problem and finally did. A spokesperson said performance issues can arise, and the primary concern was the heat pump's performance, a potential issue with the coil. The unit is now functioning properly, and we are reimbursing the couple $4,520 for the cost of the furnace. The Lums say their home is now cool, even during a heat wave.
Thank you very much, CTV, Pat Foran.
I'm so thankful to you all. I couldn't believe that things can go so fast.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
The extreme heat is having an impact on our vehicles. If you've noticed more cars breaking down on the side of the road, well, you're not alone. CAA reports a 15% increase in the number of calls for service. CTV's Katie Griffin explains why.
The extreme heat taking a toll on vehicles.
Most people don't realize in the hot weather is your battery's at risk. It's sitting underneath the hood. The temperature underneath your hood is increasing, so it actually cooks the battery.
CAA reporting a 15% increase in calls for service over this time last year.
Just general driving breakdown on the road, as well as like radiators and just heat-related, everything starts to break. It puts a stress on your vehicle.
CAA says there are a number of reasons behind the spike in calls for service, including this extreme heat. More people are traveling within Canada, and they're keeping older vehicles longer.
We've experienced a lot of vehicles overheating on the side of the road.
Ontario Provincial Police have been busy responding to vehicles that had broken down because of the heat, including one that caught fire on the 417. They say regular maintenance and checks are key.
One of the things you want to do is make sure that your fluids are all topped up in your vehicle, do the regular maintenance, have an emergency preparedness kit with you. You can purchase those in stores.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
The Toronto Blue Jays will be looking for another win tonight against the Cubs.
Who hits a fly ball pretty well tagged to left field. Hap's going to turn and watch it go.
In last night's opener, Ernie Clement homering in his 3rd straight game. His 3-run shot in the 4th gave the Jays a 4-1 lead. Dalton Varsho added a homer in the 8th, and the Jays beat the Cubs 5-1. First pitch is just after 7 p.m. tonight.
Venus Williams will be returning to the U.S. Open after a 2-year absence.
Started upset. The previous round was excellent too. So the
day.
The 45-year-old received a wild card invitation today to compete in the singles tournament. She'll be the oldest player in the U.S. Open since Renee Richards, who played in 1981 at age 47. Williams had already been given wild card entry into mixed doubles competition. Over her decades-long career, she's won 7 major singles championships, including the U.S. Open twice, as well as 14 doubles and 2 mixed doubles titles. A group of Southern Ontario teens is headed to the Netherlands. They'll be representing Canada at an ultra-competitive tug-of-war competition. CTV's Scott Miller has the details.
With each practice, the Blue Water Youth Tug-of-War team is getting themselves ready to take on some of the best tug-of-war teams in the world.
It's a huge deal for us, you know. We're going to the Netherlands. It's a different country, so we know that the competition is going to be really hard over there because, you know, we've just been around here doing competitions in North America, and that's, you know, a small area. But now that we're going on, like, the world stage and against a whole bunch of other countries around the world, it's just a bigger deal, and we're really excited to show off what we got.
Hoffman is one of 10 members of the Blue Water Youth Tug-of-War team headed to the International Tug-of-War Tournament in the Netherlands on August the 30th. Very few North American teams ever get to participate, but this group of 10 to 17-year-olds who train bi-weekly near Dashwood have won the last 3 U23 North American Tug-of-War Championships, so they are eager to take on stiffer competition overseas.
Yep, the future of tug-of-war in Canada, hopefully we can get it to grow back to what some of the countries like Switzerland and the Netherlands have with, you know, memberships in the thousands, but you got to start here.
Blue Water has always had a strong senior tug-of-war team, but building up a junior squad has been a slow and steady process, convincing kids they don't need to be 250 pounds of pure muscle in order to participate.
It's more about technique and having multiple people on the rope. More people on the rope that you can fit underneath the weight limit, the better you are.
It's really all in the legs. You just have to pull what you can.
Tug-of-war is totally inclusive, but you just have to be strong for your weight, whether it's 100 pounds or 300 pounds. You're accountable for every pound of that on the rope, and that goes towards your team weight. So yeah, it's all relative, right?
Blue Water's youth tug-of-war team leaves for the Netherlands in just a couple weeks as they're ready to represent Canada at the world's biggest tug-of-war competition for kids.
Yeah, it's so cool. Being able to tell people that you're going to represent our country is the coolest thing to be able to say. So
I'm really excited. I feel like it's a good opportunity for teamwork and just to represent Canada.
It's explosive power. Yeah, the kids are ready.
In Huron County, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Who knew? Go get them. Coming up, a new album from Taylor Swift is on the way. More on how the pop superstar announced her latest release after this short break. Taylor Swift's record-breaking Eras tour was the highest-grossing tour of all time, earning more than $2.2 billion.
But the pop superstar hasn't taken much time off since it wrapped, and now her fans are buzzing because new music is on the way, and Swift chose a novel way to announce it. CTV's Andrea Case reports.
Speculation about an announcement from Taylor Swift was running rampant on Monday after this teaser promoting a special guest on her NFL star boyfriend Travis Kelce and his brother Jason's popular podcast, New Heights. Sleuths quickly figured out this cutout matched this photo. Then, 12 minutes later, Taylor Nation, an official branch of her marketing team, posted photos of Swift wearing orange and the caption, thinking about when she said, "See you next era." Then this.
Such a nice color on you.
Yes. She broke the news herself this morning, August 12th at 12:12. She would be releasing her 12th album.
So I wanted to show you something.
Okay. What do we got?
We got
A briefcase.
Yep.
Mint green with TS on it.
Yep.
What's in it?
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
I think it's awesome. I love Taylor Swift.
Why is it awesome?
Because all her music's great.
I think that's great. I mean, I've been listening to Taylor since, like, as a kid, too, like, since 2012. So, new album, that's crazy. It's great.
While the 35-year-old 14-time Grammy winner has often referred to her ex-boyfriends in her lyrics, she's never made an album announcement this way and rarely does interviews or appears on podcasts. No official date has been given as to when it will be released, but fans can pre-order The Life of a Showgirl on Swift's website now, and vinyl editions will be shipped before October 13th.
I think she's done extremely well. I think she's conducted herself in a very professional, amazing way, really. I think that she deserves all of the success she has.
Andrea Case, CTV News.
Remember all the buzz when she was here?
The city went wild. That was something else, that's for sure. Weather-wise, okay, so we still have another potentially unsettled day, and although there is a heat warning, it's supposed to cool down.
Yeah, we do expect that this heat warning is going to come to an end at some point this afternoon, because by tonight it is going to be feeling a lot more comfortable out there. Let's take one more look at the satellite and radar. I'm keeping an eye on this for the afternoon because we do have the chance of showers and the risk of a thunderstorm, likely to be isolated and very quick moving, so not going to disrupt your entire afternoon, just something to be aware of. Overnight tonight, 19 degrees is our forecast low, finally below 20, and then there's tomorrow. 28 degrees is going to feel like 31 as opposed to 41, so that's the big difference for the next couple of days. And then your 7-day forecast looks like this. Bit of heat returning into the weekend. Nathan and Michelle.
Thank you, Lindsay. And that is CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.